So the Surface Pen has been out for many years now, but I haven't found much use for it in my daily life. That's starting to change though with the Surface Go. Today I'll tell you why. Stay tuned. Let's talk about a few things that are affecting this. One is the fact that the Surface Pen has just gotten better. Now this actually started with the Surface Pro 2017 with the 4,096 levels of pressure and the delayed latency. All this stuff has really improved it and it just makes it feel more natural, and that's super important for those of us who are adopting it. Number two is just the form factor. The Surface Go is such a small device that I'm carrying it around with me more often, and I'm flipping to tablet mode and grabbing that pen a lot easier. The problem for me with the Surface Pro is it's still a little too large to use it as a notepad. It just feels a little bit big. Now I get some people can use it and it's very good for drawing, but if you're going to hold it in your hand while walking around, well, it's not quite as easy to use as the Surface Go. And that's really precipitated my use here of using the pen, and I found that really interesting. Related to that is the fact that I can walk and talk while using the Surface Go and taking notes. I mentioned this in a previous video that part of the benefit with the Surface Go is the fact that you can't always use the keyboard while holding it in your hand. So instead you flip it around and you can use the pen. It's good for service workers, business people, and people like me who go to events and need to do some interviews. And the third related hardware improvement is just more devices on the market, whether it's the Surface Go, Surface Pro, other devices out there, or even something like the Samsung Galaxy Note 9, which I recently picked up, mostly because it had the pen. The idea here is if I start using the pen on one device, I may start using it on the other. Now the Note 9 pen is really nice. I'm actually really impressed with Samsung's implementation here. It's not quite as good as using the Surface Go, which I still prefer and still grab more often, but in a pinch, that Note 9 is pretty cool and it works natively with Microsoft OneNote. And this all leads to the next area, which is software, which has seen a huge improvement. Now, Microsoft OneNote has been around for a long time, and a lot of you are strong adherents of it. I've never really found a use for it, at least in my daily life, or be able to work it into my daily workflow. And that's partly because I'm just completely disorganized. Now, I decided to force myself to use it at IFA 2018, specifically during a Microsoft Press event. What happened was I used OneNote and used the Surface Go as a notepad. And I used a feature that I really didn't know about until someone told me before that event, which is you can record audio and take physical notes at the same time, and then the audio will sync to those notes. That is, you can go at any point to your physically written notes and hit a little play button and hear the audio that was recorded at that time. To me, that's a huge killer feature. Whether I'm doing interviews or at a press event, I can do both at the same time. Plus, I was able to snap photos with that rear camera and insert them into OneNote. To me, that's sort of the trifecta of what my job is required to do. And what's really interesting is I can't do that on something like the Galaxy Note 9, which can't do audio and inking at the same time. And that brings me to the next one, Microsoft To Do. I was lucky enough while I was in Berlin to stop by one of the offices that Microsoft has. There they showed me the new ability in To Do that's available for insiders, which is you can now ink directly in To Do for taking notes and setting up new tasks. And to me, this is just another extension of the improvements that are coming in Windows 10 in general. Now, the To Do team has a lot of ideas behind inking in its app, and they expect those improvements over the next couple months. But I was really excited to see this feature come, and again, it makes me want to use it on the Surface Go more frequently. And that brings me to the third one, which is sticky notes. Now, we haven't heard much from sticky notes as far as improvements recently, but 3.0 is coming out, and in fact, it's available to some insiders right now. With it comes a whole bunch of new templates, new design features, new inking capabilities, and finally, the ability to sync across devices, which is really going to make them useful. I haven't really started using sticky notes in my daily life yet, but it's something I'm looking to integrate, and I see a lot of improvement, and those new features just sound excellent. Now, not everything is perfect here. I think there's still a lot of improvements that will help me use the pen more on devices like the Surface Go. For instance, obviously as the technology improves, that will make it a lot easier. But I'd also like to see something like To Do get more treatment as far as integration into the operating system. For instance, I'd love to have lock screen support, or maybe ability to use it in the Quick Action Center to launch it quickly, or even map it to the pen so I can double tap and open it to launch. And these are all ideas I discussed with the To Do team out there, and they actually liked a lot of them, so we'll see maybe that can actually happen. But overall, I'm really excited about what the improvements are around Surface Pen. Now, I said a lot of this has to do with the form factor. I think the smaller the devices go, the more likely I'm to use them. Of course, there's limitations there. And I guess this leads up to something with like something Andromeda, which is a dual screen device that Microsoft is rumored to be working on. And for me, that's really going to be the killer device where I can definitely use this more often. Something like the Note 9, I always have in my pocket, so I'm able to use it to quickly take notes, but it's not quite as good as something like the Surface Go. Fingers crossed that Microsoft can can bring some of that technology to even a smaller form factor. Therefore, I can use the pen wherever I go. All right, so those are some quick thoughts on why I'm using inking more in Windows 10. I'm very excited to see what comes next. But you leave me a comment below and tell me what you think. Are you using inking in Windows 10? And what would you like to see to get you to use it more? Thanks for watching. Take care, everyone.